Have you ever pondered the current state of our world and its uncanny correlation to biblical prophecies? It's a question that has intrigued scholars, theologians, and curious minds alike. Our world today seems to be in a state of constant turmoil and change. But what if I told you that it might be following a script written thousands of years ago? Let's dive in, beginning with the biblical prophecies. These ancient texts speak of a time of great tribulation, a period of intense suffering and calamity. They also tell of the 1,000-year reign of the Lord Jesus Christ, a time of peace and prosperity. Intriguingly, the prophecies also speak of a time of deception, a period when evil will be let loose to deceive the nations. The concept of the tribulation is a fascinating one. This was a time prophesied to bring about great suffering and turmoil, a period that would test the faith and resilience of humanity. Now consider the historical context of this prophecy. The book of Revelation, which contains these prophecies, was written during a time when Rome was the dominant power and Jerusalem was under its rule. It's interesting to note that in the year 66 AD, Rome destroyed Jerusalem, a catastrophic event that aligns with the prophecy of the tribulation. Could it be that these ancient prophecies were not about a distant future, but about events that were imminent to the people of that time? And what about the 1,000-year reign of the Lord Jesus Christ? This was to be a time of peace, prosperity, and righteousness, a golden age for humanity. Could it be possible that we've already lived through this period without realizing it? And now, we find ourselves in a time of great deception, a time when truth seems elusive and lies are rampant. Could this be the prophesied period when Satan is let loose to deceive the nations? What if I told you that the tribulation, a time of great suffering as prophesied in the Bible, already occurred? It's a thought-provoking concept, isn't it? As we delve deeper, we might just uncover truths that challenge our understanding of history, the world, and our place within it. To understand where we are, we must first understand where we've been. Our journey takes us back nearly 2,000 years to the heart of the ancient world, Rome. In the year 66 AD, Rome, a titan of military prowess and political power, turned its destructive gaze upon Jerusalem, a city of profound spiritual significance. This event wasn't just a footnote in history, it was a cataclysm that echoes through the centuries, a catastrophic fulfillment of biblical prophecy. The destruction of Jerusalem was foretold in the book of Revelation, a text shrouded in metaphor and mystery. It spoke of tribulation, of suffering unparalleled, a time of extreme hardship that would shake the foundations of faith and humanity. And when Rome laid siege to Jerusalem, these cryptic prophecies turned into chilling reality. Imagine the scene: the Roman legions, a force unparalleled, descending upon the city like a storm. The walls crumbled, the temples burned, and the streets ran red. The city, once the heart of spiritual life, was reduced to rubble. This horrific event was not just a military conquest, but a divinely prophesied tribulation. Yet there's more to this tale than destruction. The tribulation wasn't an end, it was a transition, a bridge from one epoch to another. The destruction of Jerusalem in 66 AD marked the end of one age and the beginning of another, fulfilling the prophecy and setting the stage for the next chapter in the grand narrative. This event was a testament to the accuracy of biblical prophecy, a validation of the divine plan. It was a sign that the words of Revelation were not mere metaphors, but a roadmap to the future, a guide to understanding the divine blueprint. With the tribulation behind us, we moved into a time of divine reign. The 1,000-year rule of the Lord Jesus Christ began, a period of celestial governance that would shape the course of human history. But that's a story for another time. For now, let's remember that understanding our past is key to interpreting our present, and more importantly, preparing for our future. Or imagine a world ruled by divine justice and love for 1,000 years. This isn't some utopian fantasy, but a biblical prophecy that many believe has already transpired. The 1,000-year reign of the Lord Jesus Christ. This period, often referred to as the millennium, is described in the Bible as a time of peace, righteousness, and the fulfillment of divine promises. It followed the tribulation, a time of great suffering and distress. The juxtaposition of these two periods is stark, moving from an era of turmoil to one of tranquility and divine guidance. Historically, there are events and societal changes that may suggest the occurrence of this reign. Consider the fall of Rome in the 5th century, a mighty empire that was instrumental in the persecution of Christians. Its downfall marked the end of an era of intense tribulation and gave way to the spread of Christianity across Europe and eventually the world. This expansion could be seen as the beginning of Christ's reign, a time where his teachings of love, compassion, and justice became the cornerstone of societies. During this period, great cathedrals and churches were built, remarkable for their detail and grandeur. These structures, erected without power tools and with horse and buggy, were not just buildings but a testament to the faith of the people and the divine inspiration that guided their hands. The intricate details etched into these edifices symbolize the teachings of Christ, serving as constant reminders of his reign. However, as with all things, this period came to an end. As the 1,000 years drew to a close, a shift occurred. The divine guidance that had led societies began to wane, giving way to a new era, one marked not by divine love and justice, but by deception. As this divine reign ended, a new era of deception began. This transition marked the beginning of what the Bible refers to as Satan's little season, a time of great deception and the distortion of truth. But that's a story for the next scene. In this age of information, are we not also living in an age of deception? As we delve into the biblical prophecies, we find ourselves in what is referred to as Satan's little season, a time where deceit is the order of the day and truth seems to be an elusive concept. Consider for a moment our understanding of history. The narrative we've been fed is often distorted, manipulated to serve the interests of those in power. We've been led to believe that our ancestors were primitive, yet the intricate details of old world architecture tell a different story. These buildings, constructed without the aid of power tools or modern technology, are a testament to the ingenuity and sophistication of our forebears. The craftsmanship, the attention to detail, all achieved with horse and buggy, challenges our preconceived notions of progress and development. Yet it's not just our past that's shrouded in deception. Today's world is teeming with grand conspiracy theories, from the manipulation of global events to the control exerted by shadowy entities. While it's easy to dismiss these as mere paranoia, it's important to question, to seek truth amidst the lies. This, in essence, is the nature of Satan's little season, a time where deception reigns supreme. The book of Revelation speaks of this period as the final act before Satan is cast into the lake of fire, signaling the end of deceit and the dawn of truth. It's a time where both small and great will stand before God's throne, judged not by their stature, but by their deeds. It's a sobering thought, isn't it? Yet there's hope in knowing that this is but a season, a brief moment in the grand scheme of eternity. As we navigate through this era of deception, we must hold fast to the truth, seeking it diligently amidst the lies that surround us. As we grapple with this deception, it's essential to remember that this too shall pass. In the midst of chaos and deception, hope persists. The end of Satan's reign, as foretold in the scriptures, is on the horizon. It's a time when he, the master of lies, will be cast into the lake of fire, a time of reckoning where both the small and the great will stand before God's throne, their lives laid bare, their deeds judged. But this is not an end in the traditional sense. It's a transition, a metamorphosis. A new heaven and a new earth are promised, a world reborn from the ashes of the old. A place where righteousness dwells and peace is the universal language. And perhaps the most profound prophecy of all, the one that offers the greatest comfort, the destruction of death itself. Imagine a world where mortality is but a distant memory, where life in its purest form endures. While we may be in the last chapters of Revelation, remember, every end is a new beginning.